Because when my parents divorced and reorganized their families, I have lived with my grandma and uncle since I was a child. We live in the small bungalow that Grandpa bought after working hard for half his life. Although not rich, but relying on Grandma's noodle stall and the recycling bin run by Uncle. Life is pretty good. I have been living with my grandma and uncle. I didn't leave them until I went to college. I have been working part-time and studying part-time in the past few years outside. I didn't start living home again until I finished my studies. Everything at home is so strange and familiar. I go to Grandma's noodle stall to help during the day. When it's okay in the afternoon, I'll take the case and do it. Go to be a teacher after dinner in the evening. The days are full. After all, I have no ambition in my life, I just want to live a smooth life. Uncle still runs his recycling bin. Although his recycle bin is not large. But he is the only one within a 10-mile radius. So neighbors and neighbors will bring recycled items to sell. Whether it is metal, paper, electrical appliances. All these uncles accept it. The days have always been so normal and continue without waves. The new year is approaching. Recently, every household has been cleaned. The work of the recycle bin is very busy. Uncle is busy every day until midnight before going home. Busy until the afternoon of New Year's Eve. The uncle who went home early to prepare for the stove returned to his room after taking a shower. Grandma and I are preparing New Year's Eve dinner in the kitchen. Suddenly we heard the phone ringing from the uncle's room, followed by his loud roar. The voice sounds very painful. Grandma and I were scared by his situation. I quickly patted his door hard, and Grandma asked him, "Ari, what's wrong with you?" But no matter what we call, Uncle has been roaring all the time. Did not respond to us at all. It stopped after about an hour. Grandma and I heard that there was no movement inside and took a look at each other. Then Grandma asked again, "Ari, what's the matter with you? Why are you yelling? My children and I are scared by you." After a while, Uncle just came to open the door. I saw him with a livid face and expressionless face telling me and Grandma, "I'm fine. You are busy with yours." Finished. The door slammed and it was closed. Only Grandma and I were left looking at each other outside the door. In the end, we had to go back to the kitchen to continue preparing New Year's Eve dinner. The three of us are all on the table at dinner in the evening. I sent a red envelope to each of the two elders. Laughter and laughter all night. Until the sound of Hajung firecrackers came. I said Good New Year to my elders, just returned to the room to rest. We all thought that the situation on New Year's Eve was just an occasional incident. But in the past month or two, we frequently heard the rapid phone ringing from the uncle's room. And Uncle's roar in the room after the bell stopped yelling is happening more and more frequently. This series of anomalies is constantly reincarnating. Until recently, I had to make trouble for 2 or 3 hours almost every night. And tonight it happened again. So Grandma and I decided to ask the eldest brother of the neighbor next door for help. Help us knock the door of Uncle's room open. As soon as the door slammed open, all three of us obviously felt that the uncle's room was cold and cold. That coldness penetrated directly from the pores of my body into my limbs and bones. At this time, the uncle was holding a phone in his hand. Although that phone is festive orange, but it exudes a cold breath. Uncle stared at us with a resentful gaze, then rushed towards us. I have no time to react at the moment. Fortunately, the eldest brother next door pulled me out, then closed the door again. And Uncle's room instantly calmed down. There was no sound at all. The three of us breathed a sigh of relief. The eldest brother next door said to Grandma, "Grandma, I think Ruebwa is weird. Why is his room so cold? Are you going to provoke something bad?" Grandma frowned and shook her head, saying she didn't know. The eldest brother next door said again, "Let's go to the temple and ask." At this time, I immediately said, "For you." "That's right. Grandma, let's ask tomorrow. See if ABO accidentally caused something bad." Grandma didn't show up the next day. I bought 3 cattle and 5 caddies of eggs early in the morning. So he took me to find her a good sister. Because Grandma's good sister, Auntie Chun, has one of her own folk faith studio. Actually, I can't tell what sect it is. Anyway, Auntie Chun is persuading people to be kind. Grandma and I stepped into the studio. Auntie Chun turned around and looked at us as if she had installed radar. Then said, "Don't move." Grandma hurriedly pulled me to stand still. I saw Auntie Chun took the golden paper and ignited it, and she had words in her mouth. "Then use your middle finger and index finger to hold the burning gold paper." Quickly around us, I don't know what was painted. But after she finished painting, the gold paper just burned out. I only wondered at the time, isn't her hand hot? Then she turned her head and said to us, "Okay. Come in. Let's see who in your family is going to provoke what shouldn't be provoked." Grandma said as she stepped into the door, "It's Ari, I don't know how." After Grandma talked about everything carefully, Auntie Chun frowned and guessed. "Speaking of it like this, is it to receive things that shouldn't be received?" My grandma said. "I don't know, we didn't dare to go into his room." Auntie Chun asked again. "Has he brought anything home recently?" Grandma thought about it carefully and answered. "No. He never takes recycled things home." But at this moment, I was thinking of that orange-red phone in a daze. Blurted out. "That phone." Grandma patted her thigh. "That's right, it's all that phone. He didn't know where he received it. Every time he sees him weird, he always hugs that phone." I said again. And we all obviously hear the phone ringing. But that phone was not plugged into the phone line at all. It's not a phone that can hold a battery. Auntie Chun finished listening to my description with Grandma. Did not speak. "Just take care of yourself. Put the 5 caddies of raw eggs and raw meat we brought under the table. Worship a god I don't understand. After the incense sticks are on again." Slowly stood up and said to Grandma, "I prepare things. I'll go to your house for a few days from tomorrow. See what's going on." Then they talked a few more words. We left the studio. Auntie Chun moved into our house the next day. But Auntie Chun lived for half a month. My uncle has no abnormalities. Just when Grandma and I thought this trick might be over, Uncle's roar symptoms reappeared. And this time he yelled at Auntie Chun, who was sitting in the living room. The cursing voice turned out to be a sharp female voice. Grandma and I were scared and dumbfounded. Then Uncle started hitting the wall with his head. He hit it very hard. I broke my head in a few clicks. We want to stop him, but we dare not approach. Because we don't know if it's my uncle or not. Until Auntie Chun rushed into Uncle's room. "Take out that weird old orange phone." Uncle just stopped hitting the wall. I saw him turn his head slowly, looking at Auntie Chun with a very cruel look. And asked Auntie Chun, "Put the phone down." But Auntie Chun ignored him. Auntie Chun calmly and self-caringly took out her and put her on the living room table. A piece of yellow cloth full of Buddhist scriptures. Put a cover on that phone. Quickly wrap the entire phone with that piece of yellow cloth. After tying a very complicated knot with a red rope, put it in the bag she brought by herself. The uncle with blood on his head gradually calmed down. But he rolled his eyes and fainted to death. I hurriedly called an ambulance to take him to the hospital. We don't even know where Auntie Chun took the phone later. But I guess that the one who has been making trouble these days. It should be attached to the phone. Auntie Chun said that this one has a lot of resentment. She is not capable enough. I can only seal her up first and send her away. She can't solve the rest. Although it is like this. But Grandma and I are still very grateful for her willingness to help. Uncle woke up after lying in the hospital for 4 days. But Uncle took what happened these days. Forget it all. Causing us to never know. How did Uncle receive that call? Why did you put that phone? Take it home.